The person who died was Big Phil,
yeah.
friend from childhood, close friend.
Yeah.
So losing him was extra painful.
Yeah, I think it was more painful because I knew those bullets were meant for me, and I didn't get hit at all. And he was closer to me than you are. I think that made it hurt even more.
Rapper T.I. performed at Bogart's earlier in the night. After the show, he partied at Club Ritz on Seymour, and that's where police say all the trouble started. 3 members of T.I.'s entourage and a woman were shot on Paddock Road, and we're hearing that one of those men has died.
T.I. once said 2006 was the most rewarding year of his career, and honestly, he wasn't exaggerating. That was the year everything aligned. King debuted at #1. His face was everywhere. Movie posters, award stages, sold-out arenas night after night. It was the kind of run every rapper dreams about. But that same year, it also became the darkest chapter of his life.
I apologize because, I felt that, all of those rounds were fired for me.
While hip-hop almost lost one of its brightest stars, T.I. lost something far more personal. He lost his best friend, Philant Johnson, known as Big Phil, killed in an instant by a bullet that was meant for Tip. Let's break it down. Philant Johnson and T.I. both grew up on the west side of Atlanta in Bankhead. Before the coffee shops and luxury condos, before the rebrand, back in the 80s and 90s, Bankhead was raw. It was muddy streets and survival instincts. Everybody knew everybody, and loyalty wasn't optional, it was law. Philant was born around 1980, raised in the same tough environment that would later shape the sound of trap music. Around that same time, Tip was coming up too. Childhood friends. Their bond formed on cracked sidewalks, corner conversations, and the shared belief that if you wanted something, you had to take initiative and get it yourself. T.I. has never glamorized his past. He's admitted openly that as a teenager, he sold drugs because he felt trapped. Bills were piling up. Family needed support. Choices were limited. That hustle earned him the nickname a rubber band man because of the rubber bands he wore on his wrist, each one representing money and profit.
Rubber band, man, we used to wear rubber bands to signify like how much money, how much blow we had. You know what I'm saying? We had 3 rubber bands that'll probably hold about $5,000.
That environment shaped both men, just differently. T.I. had the charisma, the voice, the presence. He could talk his way into and out of almost anything. Philant was quieter, solid. Yes, he was muscle, but more than that, he was stability. The calm force that kept chaos from taking over. When T.I. gradually stepped away from the streets and leaned into music full-time, Philant didn't disappear. He stayed right beside him. When T.I. signed his first deal and later launched Grand Hustle Entertainment, Philant was there. Officially, he was personal assistant and security. Unofficially, he was the firewall, the one man who knew Clifford Harris, not just T.I. the superstar. In the music industry, titles rarely tell the full story. Philant wasn't just carrying bags or opening doors. He handled situations before they became headlines. He read rooms carefully. He drew boundaries. When fame and money created tension, and they always do, Philant stood between T.I. and the storm. By the early 2000s, T.I.'s rise was undeniable. After a rocky beginning with Arista Records, he went independent with Grand Hustle and released trap music in 2003. That album shifted the culture. Trap wasn't regional anymore. It was a movement. Philant was present through it all, in early photos, music videos, part of the inner circle. Watch it 24/7 closely, and you'll see Philant riding shotgun while T.I. drives. He was also connected to PSC, Pimp Squad Click, T.I. Center Circle, Big Country King, McBoney, C-Rod. Men grinding since the late 90s, pushing mixtapes from trunks and spreading their sound however they could. Philant worked behind the scenes, keeping movement organized, creating distance between the artist and outside pressures. By 2006, life looked surreal. T.I. released King, #1 debut, starred in ATL. Awards stacked up, money flowed fast. For a crew that once had nothing, it felt unreal. They were flying city to city, sitting in VIP sections they once only saw in music videos. T.I. later called it the most rewarding year of his career. But success brings friction, especially when street loyalty meets industry pressure. Take men raised to demand respect just to survive. Drop them into crowded clubs filled with strangers, pride, jealousy, and alcohol. Tension builds fast. Philant's job was making sure lines didn't get crossed. That brings us to May 3rd, 2006. T.I. and his crew were in Cincinnati, Ohio for a promo appearance and a show at Bogart's. The show went great. Energy was high. Feeling accomplished, they headed to an after-hours club called Club Ritz in Roselawn. Club Ritz was the kind of local hip-hop spot artists are expected to visit, show love, connect with the city. But those same venues can shift quickly. T.I., Young Dro, and the Grand Hustle crew settled into VIP. Philant was on duty as always. At first it was just another night. Then something small sparked everything: money. Members of TI's entourage began throwing cash into the crowd. To them, it was celebration. To two local brothers, Hosea Thomas and Padron Thomas, it felt like disrespect. Witnesses later said they believed the money was being thrown at them, not to them. Add the fact they had tried to enter VIP and were denied. Egos bruised, words exchanged, tension thickened. Then fists flew. During the chaos, one brother was struck with a bottle. At that point, de-escalation was off the table. T.I. and his crew chose to leave. Smart decision. Everyone piled into two large passenger vans and drove off. They likely believed the conflict ended at the club. It didn't. Hosea Thomas and Padron Thomas weren't letting it go. Pride was wounded. In their minds, the night couldn't end like that. As the vans headed toward Interstate 75, a dark SUV followed closely behind. Inside were men determined to retaliate.
The rap artist T.I. was playing at Bogart's. After the show, T.I. and the entourage comes up to this club in Roselawn. Sometime during their stay at the Ritz nightclub, there is some sort of altercation. Exactly what happened there, still, they haven't got all that sorted out yet. But what happened there carried out here onto the street on I-75, and this is where the shooting started.
Witnesses said it unfolded in seconds. The SUV accelerated, weaving through early morning traffic with clear intent. It pulled up beside the vans near the Heppel Street exit. Then the window rolled down. Gunfire erupted. Bullets ripped through the van, glass shattered, metal pierced, chaos everywhere. People ducked low, trying to disappear. But when bullets enter a moving vehicle, there's nowhere to hide. 3 entourage members were struck. And then one bullet hit where it mattered most. Philant Johnson was shot in the head. He never had a chance. He was just 26 years old.
One person is dead.
Yeah, continues to be our big story this morning. Rapper T.I. performed at Bogart's earlier in the night. After the show, he partied at Club Ritz on Seymour, and that's where police say all the trouble started.
When the shooting stopped, T.I. was unharmed. The bullets intended for the superstar missed, and instead took the man who had dedicated his life to protecting him. In the days that followed, the reality crushed Clifford Harris. He later spoke about the survivors' guilt weighing heavily on him. He was the target, the reason they were chased. Philant wasn't supposed to die. He became collateral damage in a clash fueled by pride.
The person who died was Big Phil,
yeah.
friend from childhood, close friend.
Yeah.
So losing him was extra painful.
Yeah, I think it was more painful because I knew those bullets were meant for me, you know, and I didn't get hit at all. And he was closer to me than you are, you know. I think that made it hurt even more.
Back in Atlanta, the loss hit hard. Philant wasn't just security. He was known in Bankhead. He was family, a father to a young daughter, the dependable one, the man who made sure everyone else got home safely. Now he was coming home in a casket. Cincinnati police moved quickly. A homicide connected to a major rap star draws attention, but the investigation came down to basics. Identify the vehicle, identify the shooters, determine who decided a club argument was worth a life. Focus returned to Club Ritz and the Thomas brothers. They weren't masterminds, just locals known for short tempers. Still, it wasn't simple. Mid-2000s, the stop snitching era, people saw things, but silence was common. But the shooters made a critical mistake. They weren't alone in that SUV. So, one passenger, Janice Gillespie, later became a key witness. Then came the bigger question. What would T.I. do? In Southern trap culture, credibility is everything. You don't cooperate. That a snitch label can destroy careers. T.I.'s brand was built on authenticity. But this wasn't about image. This was about Philant. He faced a brutal choice: protect the code or cooperate and risk backlash. T.I. chose Philant. He worked with prosecutors, a bold move few artists at his level would have made then. The investigation determined Hosea Thomas was the shooter. Ballistics matched. Statements aligned. Motive: humiliation. They felt disrespected, denied, embarrassed, and chose violence. The defense argued self-defense. Evidence said otherwise. The vans were leaving. The SUV pursued. Intent was clear. When the trial began in late 2008 in Hamilton County, Ohio, the courtroom was packed. Cameras watched closely. When T.I. took the stand, it sent shock waves through hip-hop.
You recognize who that is?
Yeah, that's Phil. Oh, that's his body.
In 34A.
Yeah, that's the entry wound.
He told the jury what happened. He stated plainly the bullets were meant for him. He made it clear Philant Johnson was innocent, a man who died protecting his friend. The defense tried to portray Grand Hustle as reckless outsiders seeking trouble. They referenced lyrics, images, personas. But none of that changed one fact. Philant Johnson was shot in the back of the head while the van was driving away. By November 2008, the jury deliberated less than a day. Hosea Thomas was found guilty on 11 counts: murder, felonious assault, firearm charges. He received 66 years to life. At 34, he wouldn't be eligible for parole until approximately age 100, a life sentence over a nightclub dispute. Padron Thomas, the driver, testified against his brother. In exchange, he pled guilty to manslaughter and assault. 10 years served concurrently with a 17-year federal drug sentence he was already serving. Cooperation didn't extend his time. Legally, the case was closed. But for T.I., the aftermath was just beginning. Justice didn't erase the trauma. It intensified it. Watching his best friend die inches away changed him permanently. If someone could chase him down on a highway and open fire, nowhere felt secure. Trust faded. Fear grew. By 2007, T.I. wasn't thinking about standard security. He wanted automatic weapons, silencers, heavy firepower. He arranged to purchase unregistered machine guns, trusting someone close to manage it. What he didn't realize, that trusted bodyguard had become a federal informant. On October 13, 2007, just hours before performing at the Bet Hip Hop Awards, federal agents surrounded T.I. in an Atlanta Walgreens parking lot. They searched him in his home. They found the weapons. The King of the South was in handcuffs, facing federal charges that could have ended his career. When T.I. appeared in court, he admitted the truth. He was afraid. Philant's death left him feeling hunted. Guilt and fear drove him to overarm himself. The court showed unusual leniency. Instead of decades, he received 1 year and 1 day in federal prison. While on house arrest awaiting sentencing, T.I. channeled that pain into music. The result, Paper Trail. Its emotional core was A Dead and Gone featuring Justin Timberlake. On the surface, a hit record. Beneath it, a farewell. T.I. wasn't celebrating, he was mourning. In the video, Philant's real tombstone appears, a public goodbye, not only to his friend, but to a reckless version of himself. He also dedicated Alive in the Sky to Philant, performing it with raw emotion, shouting a Big Phil, "We miss you, Shorty, and night after night." And his loyalty didn't stop there. When Philant died, his daughter Jana was just 4 or 5 years old. T.I. made the hardest calls to Philant's mother, his family, and to a little girl who would grow up without her father. I called his mom first, then I told his cousin. I told his little girl. How old was she? She was 4, 5 years old. He didn't disappear. For years, T.I. supported Jana. In 2017, 11 years later, he posted a photo of her graduating high school with honors, earning a 3.8 GPA. He bought her a car. His caption read, "See Phil, our loyalty lives forever." He said he was proud she avoided the streets they were already deep in at her age. Philant Johnson never held a microphone, but through T.I., his name became part of hip-hop history.